Okay, now that we have this cadence set up and all the sequences are activated, let's walk through some of the ways that you can add a lead to this data form to trigger these cadences. So the first way, if you go under leads and come over here to add lead, you have an option to select a data form. Now, if you forget what data forms associated with your cadence, you can always go back to your cadence screen and you can see the data form that's associated with this cadence, because anything you add to this data form will trigger this cadence. So if I go back over to leads and I select this drop down and I select add lead and select Wayne Industries CTA, if I manually input lead info here and hit create, that will start the sequence of your cadence and it'll schedule them all out for that particular lead. Same goes for import. So if I come over here and select import and select Wayne Industries CTA and go choose my data file, my CSV template, as soon as I import, this will schedule all those leads to start receiving your sequence of events. So there's a lot of different ways to think about that. So if you are importing your leads, note that they're all getting scheduled at the same time. So you either do batches at a time, or some actually set the call only stage as the first stage. That way, let's say you have some reps that you want to load up some data and you want them to call, you can have them in that call only status, and then when they change the call status, it'll trigger the additional events or sequences. That way, you may not have something triggering as soon as you import, but just note that anything imported here, it's actually going to trigger that cadence if it's activated. And then the other way is coming in through your data forms, whether it be an external embed form like this or on an internal site that you have set up with the data form. In this example, I'm going to go through the external data form directly through here. So let me put in a new lead. So I have an alias set up on my email so we can see the sequences and everything that comes through under the Wayne Industries email. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that out, put in an actual real phone number. So make sure when you're testing this, it's actually real information. Wayne Industries. Okay, so when I hit schedule callback, what this is doing is actually going out there, creating all the sequences, saving all the information as a lead. So the normal process, the only difference is it's actually triggering everything for this lead. So if I were to go back into this lead view, I would see my lead. I would already get my notification. I know my lead. It has already, I know that process. And then when I go into the lead, you'll see that I'm in stage one, step one. So this is waiting for our queue system to trigger it. So even though it's set to 0 minutes, we run every minute. And so what happens is, we're waiting for the next minute for it to run. It's going to trigger that email and go out. Once that email is sent out, then it's going to schedule for the next one, which is 1 minute later. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and watch those steps come through, and we'll come back and look at what it looks like for the second step. Okay, that email was fired, and as you can see, it's counting down to the next step. And so in my inbox, I'll receive that email based on of course, it was two-face first name is what I used here, and the personalization that comes in through that. So again, all of our mail merge fields, all our profile fields you can use to customize your cadences as they come out. And so we're just sitting here waiting for the next run to fire. So again, based on the minutes and the setup of your next stage, you'll see where it's at. And so I'll go ahead and pause this video and we'll come back for the second stage and let's look at what step 3 looks like. Okay, we're in step 3 status now. We're 30 seconds away from that firing, and when this step is completed, we're going in our final step, which is our call only stage, which I'll show you what that looks like and how you manage it. Okay, we reached the final stage in our cadence, which is the call action stage. And so you'll see here that you have a little drop down here that you can update this stage. And what that's designed for is that, let's say you had several sequences after call stage. So when you select either admin gatekeeper, left voicemail, meaningful dialogue, whatever you select here, if you select meaningful dialogue, it'll remove this lead from the cadence. But if you select admin gatekeeper or left voicemail, that'll automatically trigger any other steps in your cadences. And so in this example, this is the end of the cadence, but you may have 2 more steps. Those 2 more steps are not met until you actually change an action here. And so when you come in here to leads, you can then filter by the ones that are in call only stage. So if I select this, I can then come down here and I see I only have 1, but if I had a bunch in here, I could then put them all in a call queue and continue to call and fire off additional steps. So some reverse the cadences and have call only the first stage, and then have a follow-up email and a follow-up voicemail, and that allows you to, dial down your list and update your statuses, and that will trigger all the different events. So in this case, when I come in, I can place my phone call. Once I place my phone call, I can update, left voicemail. That removes this lead from the cadence, and then I can also change my status for the lead, however I want to do it. So at this point, this cadence is done for this lead, and the sequence of 4 ended with the call status.